Have you ever wondered why weight loss is so easy for some people, but then so difficult for others? Have you ever wondered why some people seem like they can eat so much food, but still lose weight, still hit their goals, while others are trying to just starve themselves and are still having trouble losing weight? And this is something to do, and one of the biggest secret hacks I use when it comes to shedding down. I'm currently getting down to 170 pounds. I'm 4 pounds away. And this has been the biggest thing for me when it comes to, assisting me with fat loss, especially being somebody that's extremely sedentary. Like right here, I practically work 10 hours a day. So this will also be very useful for you if you're somebody who sits a lot throughout the day, who, works at a computer, works seated and doesn't have like a very active job, because without an active job, your NEAT, your non-energy expenditure, whatever, I can't even think right now, it's first thing in the morning, but basically your energy expenditure throughout the day, especially when you start going on that calorie deficit, starts to go down unconsciously. So even though you're sitting because of your job, you're also going to be sitting more times throughout the day when you're not working and when you would usually be active, when you would have those extra calories. Like you would go for a walk unconsciously, you'd get a little bit more steps throughout the day, etc. And the way to do this, to make it extremely easy, like weight loss extremely easy, is with something I love to call eating high volume, low calorie foods, and especially ones that, number one, expand in your stomach, like rice, for example, but also number two, that they're high volume so that they can take a lot of space in your stomach. Because I don't know about you guys, but the biggest issue that I feel, especially when it comes to losing fat, is I'm always hungry. It's just a fact. Like I wake up and I'm hungry. And the reason that you want to eat high volume, low calorie foods is because they're going to fill up more space in your stomach, so that after that digestive period, you're going to feel full for 6 to 8 hours, and that way you could just keep going on your day doing the things that you want to do without really having to think about it. So let me give you an example for a good example. Right now, a lot of people think that they need to cut out carbohydrates when they lose fat. But in fact, right now I am eating the most carbohydrates I've probably eaten in any one of my programs that I've built for myself. And it's just because I need the extra filling in my stomach, because I'm on 2,000 calories a day currently. And I'm eating 400 grams of rice, roughly, and then also a little bit more, fruits. I have a kiwi throughout the day, and I also have an orange. And it's extremely useful because number one, I need the energy for my workouts and my cardio. But also number two, it just takes such a massive, it takes so much space on my plate that when I go to look for it, like when I go and about to start eating, I'm looking down on my plate and I think to myself, oh my God, this is a lot of food. Am I even going to be able to finish all this? And then subconsciously, I trick myself into thinking that I'm not even on a cut, that I'm not even losing weight, but day by day, week by week, month by month, the scale just keeps dropping, and it's just phenomenal. Because I'm eating such a high volume of food that I'm like subconsciously tricking myself into thinking, oh, yeah, I'm actually not on a carb because of the quantity of food I eat. So obviously quality is very important, don't get me wrong, in your food, especially if you want to curb hunger cravings. But another extremely important thing is the quantity. Because if you're going to be eating like little cute aesthetic meals that are going to require you to eat 7-8 times a day, it's not going to really work towards your benefit because you're just going to constantly be hungry. Wouldn't you rather eat twice a day, maybe max 3, and then just not have to worry about food the rest of your day and just control your impulses the rest of the day? Well, doesn't that make more sense, especially if you live such a busy life? Especially if you're always on the go, especially if you're always don't have time. Doesn't that make sense a little bit better? You know, wake up, fast in the morning, come lunchtime, have your first massive meal. Comes dinner, another massive meal, and then, you know, before bed, have an extremely small, like high protein, like yogurt snack or cottage cheese, fruits, etc. Or even like mix it up, right? Depending on the activities that you have to get done throughout the day. But there's always a way to bend things around. There's always something to do. It's just having that access to the right information to make the right choices. Right? Because if you guys, like, I wish I had it right in front of me. If you guys just saw the size of my portions, like obviously if you follow me on Instagram, you'd be able to see, like I always post the meals that I eat on my stories. Like typically these are my 2 go-to meals right now. 300 grams of chicken, 250 grams of rice, 1 orange. And then meal number 2, 150 grams of ground beef, 4 eggs, 150 grams of rice, 1 kiwi. And then meal 3, 200 grams of cottage cheese, 125 grams of this Polish thing called twaróg, and that's basically like also a similar type of cottage cheese. And then on top of that, a tablespoon of jam and some frozen berries. Don't get me wrong, I'm on 2,000 calories, so I'm still thinking about food all day. But it helps me. It helps me control my impulses. It helps me keep me full for an extremely long period of time because I strategically plan my fats post later in the day, and then low fat, high carb in the morning because I usually train midday, and it's what works. And at the end of the day, it works for me. It might not work for you, but you could give it a try. You could give something like this a try. That's why, you know, salad is also a great thing because you could eat a shit ton of it, such high volumes of it. Obviously, don't go vegetarian just to lose weight because that is probably one of the worst decisions you can make for yourself. Like, have protein. You can have a shit ton of veggies, and veggies are great as like fillers. I never count my veggies in my macros or calories, but you could just eat a ton of volume of veggies, and that's why veggies are extremely great for fat loss as well, because their calories are negligent or neglected just because they're so low, but also at the same time they take up so much space in your stomach. Like, have you seen a bowl of salad? Yeah, that obviously it doesn't, when you chew it and you swallow it, it shrinks. But think about the volume of food you're putting into your body. And another thing about volume food that is really important is after you're done eating such a big meal, like 2 days ago, I was at my cousin's house, and we were eating, like, literally I had like a mountain of salad with salmon, and it was such a mountain of food that it took me a proper like 5 to 10 minutes to finish the entire meal, just because there was so much chewing, there was just so much eating, and it helps with your hunger hormones just to like signal, okay, we're getting full, you know, we're taking a long time to eat, rather than eating 2,000 calories in like a palm-sized meal. Because think about how quickly you could finish a palm-sized meal, whether it be like call it a sandwich, right? These are why sandwiches, they're whatever for weight loss, but they're not my favorite, just because you can load a dumb amount of calories into a sandwich. So call a sandwich, for example, right? You have a sandwich, you can easily pack 2,000, 3,000 calories. I promise you, you could pack 3,000 calories into a sandwich. And do you know how quickly you can eat that sandwich? A burger is a perfect example. Do you know you could stack 300 grams of ground beef patties on a burger, 4 slices of bacon, 4 slices of cheese, sauce, barbecue sauce, aioli sauce, I don't know, buns, butter, etc. All these like high volume, high fat, low volume, I don't know why I said high volume earlier, low volume foods. And then you eat the massive burger, and all of a sudden you eat it in 2 minutes and you're still hungry. And then you go around into your cupboard, you peek for some food, and then you go around somewhere else, you peek for some food, and you just can't stop yourself from eating. So, how do you get over this problem? Well, my favorite way is if you're somebody like me and you cannot control yourself. Like, I legit, put me a bowl of M&Ms right in front of me, I'm not finishing them. I'm finishing them. No matter what. No matter even if I try to tell myself, no, don't eat them. They're all gone. Because I know what my strengths are, what I'm like mentally strong with. Like, oh, okay, you know, we need to go to the gym. I can mentally control myself with that. Like, I'm mentally disciplined. But put a bag of chips in front of me. Put a bag of M&Ms in front of me. Put an entire pizza in front of me. Put 2 burgers in front of me. I'm not controlling myself. Like, I will devour the entire thing. Even if I try to tell myself no, even if I try to so hard to resist, I will not be able to. So, knowing myself, knowing my weaknesses, this is why it's extremely important to know your weaknesses. Where are your strengths and where are your weaknesses? I don't put myself into positions to expose my weaknesses, because I don't have control over my weaknesses. So if you're somebody also that struggles with something like this, it's like, oh man, like you come back from work and you just sit down on the couch like I am right now, go to the cupboard, grab a bag of chips, put your feet on the table, throw on some Netflix. 2 episodes later, the entire bag of chips is gone. Because that would be me. Let me give you a little piece of information. Don't buy the bag of chips in the first place. And don't bring it into your house, because if you're like me, you're not going to have any control over yourself once they're home. You're going to devour everything. You're going to devour everything. And it's easier to control yourself when your temptations are not around, right? So if you have temptations over these things, just make it easier for yourself by removing the temptations in the first place. Because if, like, I'll show you guys, like, how easy I make him. Like, look, like, we're getting really lean right now. This is the leanest I've ever been. And it's just because I started living with only having what I need. Like, look, this is my fridge right now. I'm gonna show you guys real quick. So here, we've got ground turkey. I mix up ground turkey and ground beef, sometimes I get bored. 300 grams of chicken breast, 300 grams of chicken breast, eggs. This is the Farouk thing I was talking about. And then cottage cheese. Like, and then this is my pantry. I make it impossible for me not to hit my goals right? I make it impossible. Because if I'm home and I'm bored and I want something to eat, do you think I'm really going to walk down to the store or walk down to, somewhere and get that snack? No, because in that time effort, I'll realize, okay, no, Matthew, we're on a weight loss, we're losing fat. There's no point that you should be, like, I'll stop myself is what I'm trying to say earlier on, and I'll catch myself because of the distance, the effort that it takes to get that snack. But if I'm just like here and I get bored all of a sudden and I want something to and I just have 5 steps to go to the kitchen because I've got a whole bag of chips in there, you think I'm stopping myself? No, absolutely not. I'm going right into that cupboard and devouring that entire bag of chips. God help me. So these are the 2 takeaway things that I want you guys to take away from this video that will significantly improve your fat loss results, your journey, and just make it really easy and almost impossible to fail. Number 1, focus on high volume foods, veggies, rice, protein. And number 2, please, if you cannot control yourself like me, just remove the temptations and make it impossible for you to fail to hit your goals, and just remove the things that you know what you're struggling with. You know where your secret snack container is. You know the things that you're buying and that you shouldn't be buying, that you have trouble saying no to. So don't buy it in the first place. Make it impossible for you not to hit your goals. Right? Like, it's